In a move that stunned the West, Canada chose a new fighter jet for its northern skies, and it wasn't American. Instead of the US-made F-35 or Super Hornet, Canada picked Sweden's Saab Gripen E. This wasn't just a military purchase, it was a political statement. For decades, Canada was America's steadfast military partner. This choice changes that dynamic. The implications ripple far beyond aircraft. It's about alliances, trust, and the future of NATO. NATO has long pushed for standardized equipment, with the F-35 as its backbone. Canada's decision cracks that united front, raising tough questions about alliance unity and US leadership. Why did Canada turn away from its closest ally? The answer lies in a history of political promises, broken deals, and growing frustration. This choice signals smaller nations asserting independence, even if it upsets the superpower next door. The world is watching, and the stakes are high. For the US, losing a major contract at home is a blow to both economy and prestige. Ottawa's message: American friendship isn't a blank check, Canadian needs come first. Washington must now ask why its neighbor looked elsewhere. The answer's a mix of cost, politics, and a desire for a new kind of partnership. The Gripen choice marks a new chapter in North American defense. It's a wake-up call for the US defense industry. Canada's move forces Washington to re-examine its relationships. The old rules no longer apply. This is about more than jets. It's about the shifting balance of power. The decision is a test for NATO's adaptability. Can the alliance remain strong amid diverging interests? Canada's bold move has set the stage for a new era in Western security. The world waits to see what comes next. Canada's search for a new fighter jet has been a political saga for over a decade. The aging CF-18 Hornets, bought in the 1980s, needed replacing. Everyone agreed on that, but not on what to buy. Canada was once a partner in the F-35 program, investing millions and planning to buy 65 jets. But soaring costs and political controversy derailed the deal. Critics questioned the F-35's price and performance, and the debate became toxic. A new government promised an open competition, setting the stage for today's showdown. Boeing offered the Super Hornet, Lockheed Martin pushed the F-35, and Saab entered with the Gripen. Each company promised jobs, industrial benefits, and the best defense for Canada's vast remote territory. But past trade disputes, like Boeing's challenge against Bombardier, bred mistrust. Many Canadians feared US jets would leave them vulnerable to political pressure. The government weighed every option, haunted by a history of complicated US defense deals. The final decision wasn't just about the best plane, it was about the best partner. Economic friction and political tension played a crucial role. Canada wanted more than a jet. It wanted control over its own defense. The Gripen offered a new path. This was about sovereignty as much as security. The saga revealed deep questions about trust and independence. In the end, Canada chose a partner that promised more than hardware. It chose a future on its own terms. Why did Canada say no to American jets? Ottawa's answer: best value. The Gripen E met all military requirements, especially for Arctic operations, at a lower cost than US rivals. Saab promised to build and assemble much of the fleet in Canada, transferring key technologies. This meant high-tech jobs and more control over Canada's defense assets. The Gripen's design, built for cold remote conditions, fit Canada's needs perfectly. Unlike the F-35, the Gripen could be maintained easily in the Arctic by small crews. The political dimension was clear. Canada wanted to assert its independence. Choosing a European jet diversified its defense partnerships and sent a message to Washington. Canada refused to be taken for granted. By avoiding the F-35, it kept strategic autonomy. The decision was bold, a step away from the continent's traditional power dynamic. It was about more than planes. It was about sovereignty. Canada wanted a partner, not just a supplier. The Gripen offered that. At NATO headquarters, Canada's decision landed like a bombshell. Officially, the alliance respected Canada's choice and noted the Gripen's NATO compatibility, but behind closed doors, many allies were dismayed. The F-35 was meant to unify NATO air power. Canada's move cracked that vision. Some feared a two-tiered alliance, complicating joint operations. Military leaders worried about integrating a non-stealth jet into F-35 strike packages. Yet, for smaller NATO members, Canada's choice was empowering. It showed that even founding members could prioritize national interests. This precedent could embolden others to consider European or domestic alternatives. The decision challenges US dominance in the defense market. NATO's future just got more complicated. In Washington, Canada's decision triggered public diplomacy and private frustration. The Pentagon expressed disappointment but reaffirmed the US-Canada defense partnership. Losing a multi-billion-dollar contract to a European rival is a major blow. The economic impact is real. Billions lost, thousands of jobs affected. More than money, it's a hit to the reputation of US defense products. If the F-35 wasn't right for Canada, what about other allies? The decision undermines a key US foreign policy tool. Building alliances through defense sales, Canada's move weakens US influence and signals allies are willing to seek independence. It's a quiet rebellion against America First policies and trade disputes. The loss forces US policymakers to confront their own unpredictability. Canada's choice is a warning. Even close friends won't always follow Washington's lead. The US must adapt if it wants to maintain its global standing. The era of automatic alignment is over. Canada's move is a turning point. The world is watching how America responds. Canada's Gripen purchase forces NATO to rethink its air power strategy. The alliance had planned around a fleet of F-35s, but now faces a more diverse reality. Integrating Gripens means new tactics, more complex training, and fresh command challenges. The dream of a standardized NATO air force is gone. Yet diversity brings resilience. Relying on one jet creates risk. A mixed fleet is harder to counter. The Gripen's advanced data links could spur innovation in joint operations. Canada's choice refocuses NATO on the Arctic, where the Gripen excels. As climate change opens new routes, Arctic defense grows vital. Canada's move, while disruptive, strengthens NATO's northern posture. The alliance must adapt to a new, more flexible future. The Gripen is now part of that story. Experts see Canada's move as a sign of a maturing alliance. Dr. Rebecca Vance, a defense analyst, says it's not a rejection of NATO, but an evolution toward more balanced partnerships. Canada's choice reflects confidence in making decisions based on national needs, not just US leadership. A retired Canadian Air Force general calls the Gripen a practical choice, rugged, reliable, and affordable for Canada's vast territory. It's not about politics, it's about what works. European analysts hailed the decision as a win for European defense autonomy. It proves European firms can compete with US giants, even in North America. Canada acts as a bridge, strengthening transatlantic ties beyond Washington. But not all are optimistic. A former US Pentagon official warns that interoperability is the bedrock of coalition warfare. Different jets mean more friction and complexity in a crisis. The F-35 was designed to be the quarterback. Canada's choice changes the game. The alliance can adapt, but it won't be easy. Canada's move introduces a seam in NATO's armor. Adversaries will notice. The challenge now is to make diversity a strength, not a weakness. Canada's Gripen deal will shape its military, the US, and NATO for years. Canada must now integrate the jet, train crews, and build promised domestic facilities. Success will mean a triumph of independent policy. Failure could be a political disaster. For the US, this is a moment to rethink defense trade relationships. Will Washington offer more genuine partnerships or stick to old habits? NATO must embrace multi-platform interoperability. The era of a single dominant jet is over. The challenge megamwabitum wurgo be circan. By the yangs. And door dives. Wasigomi Yesting could lead to more adaptable, resilient alliances. The big question, is Canada's move a one-off or the start of a trend? The Gripen's win could open doors for more competition in global defense. The aftershocks will shape the alliance for years. Canada's choice was a calculated gamble, a northern gambit. It prioritized its own needs over conformity, choosing a jet built for its geography and a deal that built its industry. This wasn't defiance, but self-definition. The Gripen decision sends a message. Alliances must be nurtured, not assumed. NATO must evolve beyond a US-centric model. Canada's move is a test of its ability to manage a complex program and forge new partnerships. The world is watching to see if this gamble pays off. The story is about more than jets. It's about changing power and partnership. Even smaller nations can assert their interests. Old alliances are being tested, but may emerge more flexible and resilient. Canada has fired the starting gun on a new race. The future of Western security may depend on how its allies respond. The next chapter has just begun.